not sure yet. I'm not sure I can pull that off. I'm not sure I can make that happen. I'm not sure I can do that. I'm not sure that now's the right time. I'm not sure that that's what people want. I'm not sure I'm the right person. I'm not sure you're the right person. I'm just not sure. And notice how it's not negative. It's neutral. But here's what we see consistently. Neutral always becomes negative. Neutral always becomes negative. Now, the attitude of the ultra-performing leaders is only 1 degree different. It's not like this big dramatic thing, at least in the short term. The attitude of the ultra-performers, what they say is, well, I am in for good. I'm not totally sure it's going to work, but I do know, I feel this is the right thing, and I'm in for good. I'm going to do every single thing I have in my power to make this work. I'm going to give every piece of time and energy and money and prayer and love and focus and dedication to try to make this work because I am in this for good. I believe in what I'm about to do. And right there, their life and the direction of their team splits and heads in one of 2 distinct directions, based upon the momentum of what happens in the subconscious minds of the leader and the team. The person who says, I'm not sure yet, gets plagued with this question. The question is, should I? Should I stay or should I go? Should I try to make this work or should I just let it be? Should I do it myself? Should I give it to someone else? Should I do this now? Should I do it later? Should. And you got to be careful with this, leaders, because if you're not careful, you end up becoming what I like to call a shithead. Don't be a shithead. That's all I'm saying. You will notice that should becomes the pervasive mentality of an escalator team. And at neutral ultimately becomes negative. They ultimately revert back to the way they've always done things. Now, the person who says that I am in for good gets plagued by a different question. Their question is not should I, their question becomes how will I? Or how will we? They start asking the question how. And my friends, the moment that you start asking the question how, it's like our minds transcend all limitation. We break free of these belief barriers and these mental prisons of our own construction about what is possible for our lives and what isn't possible. We tend to break free of the past, and we realize that what we did in the past has nothing to do with what we are going to do tomorrow. And suddenly our creativity engages, and that pushes us over the decisional threshold as we start to process on the question how, until one day you wake up and it's like, boom, the answer comes. Or you meet somebody and they have a great idea, or somebody else comes up with a great idea, or you read something in a book and all the doors open for you, you hear from a speaker, and suddenly we see something that we would have otherwise missed because we weren't ready to hear it, we weren't in the space of how. That moment is what we call the pivot point. The pivot point is the moment that the leader's thinking shifts from should I or should we to how will we. Think about our friend Bob, right? Like when Bob has the $5 laying in the urinal, the question is, should I get my money? But the moment he takes out the $50 and he puts the $50 in there, the question shifts from should I get my money to how will I get my money? That is the critical moment for a leader. And it happens very quickly, and things start to move in a direction. In fact, most of us drastically underestimate the power of momentum of the subconscious mind, of ourselves, and of our team. So what we're going to do is actually a little exercise just to demonstrate the power of this momentum of your subconscious mind. So here's what I want you to do. Everybody, if you would, just stand up with me. Stand up just for a second. Don't worry, I'm not going to make you touch anybody or do anything weird. All I want you to do is everybody follow along and repeat after me, okay? Everybody say coast. Coast. Say silk. Silk. Say coast. Coast. Say silk. Silk. Spell coast. C-O-A-S-T. Spell silk. S-I-L-K. Say coast. Coast. Say silk. Silk. What do you put in a toaster? Toast. Bread. Think about it. What do you put in a toaster? Bread. You put bread in a toaster. direction, it's very hard without specific discipline or intention to change the direction of that thought process. Now, just out of curiosity, and be proud and raise your hands high here, how many of you, your first thought was actually bread? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, look around. These are the liars. I'm just kidding. It probably means you have some ridiculously high IQ or you have extra libido or something. But most of us think toast. This is because of this momentum. This is so powerful, this concept. I bet I could get a couple of you again on the exact same exercise. A few of you are like, no way, dude, bring it on. You know, we're going to do this one more time. Okay, so here's the thing. If you got it right the first time, you're in the winner's circle, so you don't get to play, so you're out. And if you've heard this before, you don't get to play either, so don't ruin it for everybody else. But if you messed it up, I'm going to give you one honest chance to redeem yourself here, but we got to do it louder and faster in order for it to work, because it's the same thing. All right, so here we go. Everybody say coast. Coast. Say silk. Silk. Say coast. Coast. Say silk. Silk. Spell coast. C-O-A-S-T. Spell silk. S-I-L-K. Say coast. Coast. Say silk. Silk. Say coast. Coast. Say silk. Silk. What do cows drink? Honestly, how many of you were sitting there going, bread? Ah, yes. The power of momentum. The power of momentum of your subconscious mind. That, my friends, brings us to the second of the 7 take the stairs strategies. This is the second of the 7, and perhaps one of the most important jobs of a leader. And that is that you increase your commitment and thereby the likelihood of the success of your team by intentionally creating the question how, rather than accidentally relenting to the question should. As the leader, you have to intentionally create a culture of how. You don't have to have the answers. You don't have to have the ideas. You don't even necessarily have to make always the decision. But you have to create the culture of how and keep that how alive, because chances are things will naturally gravitate back towards the question should. You know, one of the things that was most striking for me in my own realization as I was actually sitting and writing the book was I realized that, you know, an average team or an average success or an average marriage or average finances or an average life, doesn't come from having a bad attitude. An average life comes from having an average attitude. An extraordinary team, an extraordinary marriage, extraordinary success, an extraordinary life requires an extraordinary attitude. It is consciously choosing to control the way that you want to see things. And not choosing an attitude is a choice in and of itself. And when things get difficult, you will find that most people tend to run. They tend to run back towards the way that we've always done things. And as the leader, if you can create and keep that culture of how alive, you'll find that the team will activate. They'll find the solutions. They'll even do the work. But you've got to be the pivot point. You've got to be the critical backstop in those tough moments to keep that spirit alive.